Welcome to Vision to Venture. I'm Eddie, and I'm here to uncover the realities of scaling and building a tech startup. Each week, I speak to leaders within the tech space with their insights and advice on how to found, fund, and frame a tech startup. So make sure to follow and subscribe to never miss an episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Vision to Venture. Today, I'm joined by Eric Varnild, who is the VP of Engineering and AI at Paretos. Hello, Eric. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
Yeah, hello. I'm doing very well, thank you, and very pleased to be with you.
Likewise. Just to sort of kick off this podcast, I just wanted to start off by asking, so obviously as the VP of Engineering and AI at Paretos, you obviously bring a wealth of experience in software engineering and AI. Can you just share a little bit about your role in the company and what the company sort of do?
Yes. So, we are a SaaS company, so we deliver software as a service for enterprise in different sectors like supply chain, manufacturing, retail. And I'm in charge of leading the engineering team and the AI team. AI includes machine learning and optimization and a little bit of Gen AI as well. Yes, and I've been hiring the team, so defining the architecture with my team, building the product and operating the product.
Amazing. And so your journey into software engineering, it began very young, didn't it? I think you was just 13 years old.
Yes, exactly. So I become at that time I got an Apple II, so it's before the Mac. I started to do some programming on it, and I really loved it. And then I continued until I finished high school, and then I decided I wanted to study informatics and software engineering. And then I discovered AI, which was already a theme. So it was back in the 90s, the early 90s, so 1990s. I thought it was completely fascinating. So to be to have computers who try to mimic intelligence. And then I graduated in AI on software engineering. So back then in 1992.
Wow. And what was it that you would sort of say fueled your passion for technology so young? Was it that you started coding, or was there something else behind it as well?
Well, I think so. So like a lot of people, so I was doing a lot of games as well. So computer games, but also, my father, he was a construction engineer, but he when he was studying, so back in the 1960s, so he had access to some the first computers, and he was amazed by them. And I think he always told me, so if computer science was a topic in my school, I would have done that. And so he kept this passion. He was developing some programs, and he asked me to help him to develop some programs as well. So that's I did when I was when starting 13 years old. So that was some games for me, but also some computations which he was using in his constructions programs. So that was my first programs, and I found that quite interesting. So to be able to control a computer, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is definitely interesting. It has come so far as well since then. Have you seen AI progress? So obviously you've seen AI progress quite a lot since when you started. What did you sort of expect the future to be like? And are there any sort of surprises or advancements that have stood out to you the most?
Well, so I've been working on traditional AI for a very long time. So which was like symbolic, so-called symbolic AI, where you try to represent the knowledge, the reasoning by basically so defining it per hand. So I've done that very long time, and then machine learning came in, which was basically okay, instead of having a human doing that per hand, so have the machine doing that automatically. And of course, I jumped onto this wagon, and so I think it was I think it's so at the beginning it was when it was only so basically simple machine learning, when you would, for example, recognize between a dog and a cat. So that was a big step forward, but there was the progress has been slow. I think one of the obvious changes was the introduction of deep learning, which really allowed some new kinds of applications, from some very complex translations, for example, to some very to the possibility to recognize pictures and text. And of course, then in the latest times, so generative AI, so basically take everything which was done with machine learning and be able to generate stuff, so generate pictures, and of course generate text with all the GPTs. And that's been, to be honest, so before, so machine learning for me was let's say incremental step. But ChatGPT is obviously something, and the GPTs, so the LLMs are definitely a huge step forwards. And then afterwards, all the Gen AI, so not on, so the generation of videos and text and sound is really a huge step forward. Yeah. Nevertheless, so I mean, we're probably going to talk about it. It's a revolution or an evolution. It's a revolution, but it's not basically the end of the game. So I think there are still lots of steps to get to real artificial intelligence. So something which really can match so humans in all tasks or many tasks.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going. It's almost evolved so rapidly. It's hard to keep up because there's always these new things that are coming out, and obviously Gen AI was not really anything, and then all of a sudden it's exploded and it's absolutely everywhere. So you must have seen a lot of dramatic changes because it's happened so quickly as well. And you just wouldn't expect it to happen that quickly, but it has, and here we are with all these different advancements, and it's crazy. So to actually sort of like be in the mix of it as well, must be really interesting just to watch it all evolve. And so obviously, speaking of evolving, loads of different softwares out there and different types of things that people use in their workspace and stuff. Obviously, there's going to be companies out there that are trying to make things better. And so Paretos obviously specializes in machine learning and time series analysis and aims to defeat Excel. So I wanted to just ask, how does Paretos's technology differentiate itself from Excel, and how is it sort of going to take that one step forward?
Yes, so basically, so we saw that people in companies, they take decisions, and to take decisions, so they try to take informed decision, of course. And most of the time, what they do is that they have a lot of Excel spreadsheets and try to manipulate numbers and to get some out of numbers make decisions. So what we've seen is that it's a very manual process usually, and it's not using AI. And AI has a lot of potential here. So first, it allows you to understand your data better, to get an overview on your data. So it helps you do some analytics on your data. Then it can learn on your data and you can do some forecast. So that's quite important. Some predictions. So that's where we are specialized in time series. So you have basically you have some data of the past. So what happens, for example, for your inventory or your sales. And based on the history of the past, we can predict using machine learning, so your future sales or inventory. And then, so that's only part, and then we can do some recommendations, and that we use some other parts, so which are mostly based on optimization algorithm, where we say, okay, so you want, what should you do basically to increase your sales? What should you do to increase your margin? And there we use some algorithm where you basically tell the system, okay, so these are the variables that you have. Yes, you can make them. You can change the values of the variable, and here are the functions or variables that you want to optimize. So maximize ones or minimize some other ones. And these are all AI techniques, which are not generative AI, but which are which are really machine learning and optimization, and so that we've been using since our start, and which really make a difference. And then our users, they have the feeling that they understand better their data, and we can do some forecast, and we can do some optimization. So that's really a lot of help for them.
Yeah. What challenges would you say you face in convincing organizations to transition from traditional tools to more AI-based solutions?
So one is basically that, so AI, so you have to build the trust. So one of the big challenges is trust in AI, because people don't understand how it works. It's not easy. It has a black box. So it has a black box effect. So you cannot completely explain how it works. So you can explain how it works concretely, but you cannot give a reason. And also, for example, when we do forecast, of course, it's like for weather forecasting. It's only the best that you can do. It's never 100% sure that what you're going to forecast is correct. So you have to build trust, and it's the same with Gen AI. So you know, the hallucinations. So sometimes a Gen AI can be super convinced that he has an answer to all your questions, but maybe sometimes the questions are wrong. And so you have to put a lot of the way to address that is basically to have some verification. So you put in place some algorithm which you run on the side of your AI, and which validates basically the results that you provide, and says, yes, so this is something we've provided, and give you some confidence, so transparent confidence to the users, saying, well, this is what we found as a result, but maybe it's only 90% sure that it's going to be right. And you have to teach the users to tell, well, so yes, so we are providing some very good information, but there is some uncertainty on top of it. And so at some point they get it, but at the beginning, most of the time they think, oh, it's magic. It's going to give me the solution right away, and it's going to be right, 100% right. And so that's not the reality. And as a matter of fact, in life, it's also not the reality. So there is nothing which is always 100%. It's always a compromise, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There always is. And so with doing all of that, in your sort of experience, obviously you're working in SaaS companies, what lessons would you say you have learned about effectively integrating AI solutions into businesses?
Yes, so I think what I've learned is that it's important to understand the customer problem. So there is a lot of interactions between humans. So between the customer and the company, to get to really understand the business problem. And there is no AI, so no ChatGPT that can do that in our experience, because most of the time the problem is not so clear for the customers themselves, right? So you have to help them define their problem, and then all decisions, so all AI are based on data. So you need to help the customer find the right data, and if they don't have the right data, they need to collect it. So to collect it in addition. So that's one thing. And then when you provide some results, so for one challenge is okay, so how do you change your process inside the company to use basically AI? So because people, they were using Excel, so and it was not perfect. I mean, most of the time it was very slow and some Excel was crashing, but they had a process. And now we tell them, okay, so first you have to give us your data, and you have to do that every day or every week, so that we can always use the latest data. And then you are going to get the results, and I mean, you could basically paste our results in your Excel spreadsheet. So that's a possibility. But so how about changing your process so that you can decide in your applications, in your process, you can use our results right away. And so that's what people come for to us. They want to do that, but and the people who buy us, they want that, but then afterwards, concretely in the companies, they have to change process, change the habits of a number of people, and that's a big challenge for them, right? So and that's something I've seen along the way for enterprise product. So it's always, there is of course you introduce some software, and that's helping and it's providing a lot of value. But what people underestimate most of the time is the time it takes to change the process inside the company to make the best use of the value created by the software.
And would you have any sort of other advice for companies that are looking to sort of actually leverage AI effectively? After doing
Yes, so you should invest in data. So should invest in collecting data. So having a good data engineering pipeline. So making sure that you collect all the data, you process it, you understand your data, and that's it's basically so it's 50% of the work. And if you look a little bit in detail, so how for example OpenAI was successful, and Meta, and there are some latest articles that they were not necessarily using legal ways. So all the trick is to basically have a huge amount of data, which is not only just raw data, it's curated. So basically you make sure that it's clean, so that there is nothing which is so some bad data in it, which is going to make your system so performing less well. You need to make sure that it's unbiased. So it's a very difficult effort. And contrary to what people think, so it's not magical. It's really people doing that per hand and tuning and fine tuning, and that's where you get the best result from AI. So the data that you use to train your AI is really a key part, and that's the global data that you use to create some global model, as well as the customer data that you get and that helps you so taking decisions for your particular customer.
Crazy how much data is needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And good data, sometimes it's not necessarily the amount which is important, it's the quality which is equally important. Quality and quantity is equally important, and sometimes it's better to have quality than raw quantity, I would say.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, and I think like that's a given in a lot of sort of instances, isn't it? It's always quality over quantity. Well, 95% of the time anyway. And so just looking ahead, what are your sort of strategies for continuing to innovate and disrupt the AI space? And how would you say you plan to maintain Paretos's competitive edge in an ever-evolving industry?
The key for us is to be able to develop some what we call applications. So basically, specialized AI who will help you in some specific which have some, let's say, some specific domain expertise, and that will help you in this domain. I mean, if you take, for example, ChatGPT, so it has a good general knowledge of a lot of topics, right? But to be able to make a difference, to provide some value for some complicated business problem, you need to have some domain expertise, which is not available. So as is. So we have a number of applications already, and we are improving them all the time. And then we want to add several applications. And our goal as well is that you have the applications that connects to each other. So for example, one nice example that we have is that, so we have an application which predicts your sales, one which predicts your demand, and one which do a recommendation of reordering, for example. So you have so based on the sales, based on the demand, so I mean mostly on the demand for this case. So you know your inventory, so that's a data. We do some recommendation how much should you order so that you can satisfy the predicted demand that you will have, right?
Yeah.
And then so that's basically the two applications which are working hand in hand together to help you make better decision. And there are a number of then you have another application which is, okay, so now you manage your inventory, but so how do you manage basically, okay, so if you have several warehouses, so where do you want to stock your inventory? And so you have an application which will allow you to allocate to optimize how you allocate the different stock for the different objects in different warehouses. And then inside a warehouse, we also are optimizing. So so usually, so you have some places which are for the items which are the most used, and some which for the items which are less frequently, I mean, not used, sold. And then we tell, okay, so how can you optimize your warehouse? So the placement of your of the objects in your warehouse, so that you maximize, so knowing which objects are going to be the most used. And we can, with all the data and with all the forecast and all the optimization, we can provide this data. And as I said, so these are different applications where you need to have some domain expertise. So how do you predict, for example, demand? You need to know how a warehouse is working, how several warehouse logistic is working. So that's a lot of domain expertise that we put into AI, so that and that it can be used then to produce the best results.
Right, amazing. Okay, yeah. So it's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, there is
no.
I always say, so if I mean, in software, in my experience, I mean, there is nothing. So there is a lot. Software is a commodity. So there is a lot of open source, a lot of things which are for free. So I mean, you have a lot of things which are doing by big people for nothing, for no money, or just for your data. But I mean, if you sell to enterprise, you want to get so you won't have millions of customers. You will have hundreds or thousands of customers. So if you want to have a good business model, you have to sell for very big amount of money to each customer.
Yeah.
And to do that, you have to provide really so significant value. So it's most of the time, it's not only so basically just a piece of code which do something. It's also an expertise and a domain expertise and a way to solve problems, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, considering your position at the forefront of AI innovation, what would you say excites you the most about the future of AI, and how do you see Paretos is contributing to shaping that future?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they are going definitively to. So I think that what is something which is required to get to the next steps toward so really artificial intelligence. So what is the fact that you have several AIs which collaborate and solve some
Mhm.
problems, and each of the AI is specialized and can solve a little know how to solve a problem, and then the trick is to make them collaborate. One of the things, of course, is so I mean, at the beginning of AI, so like in the 1950s and 60s, when people started thinking about AI, so there were lots of people who were saying, so if you don't have a concrete interaction with the world, so basically the senses, so seeing, hearing, so feeling, it's we're never going to have a real AI. So because that's part of that's part of what you need to get a real artificial intelligence. I mean, robots are making so tremendous progress, and one of the reasons is that you have the computing technology, but they have also the senses. I think there are going to be some really interesting really interesting applications of robots in the next years. So for Paretos, I mean, as I said, so we are going to use all the AI technologies which been out there. So we use so there is some old stuff like some logic, for example, and agents. These are all topics which have been there around for a very long time in AI, and especially in decision management. And so we are going to leverage these technologies to deliver even better values for our customers.
And then just finally, just to wrap this up, I just wanted to ask your expert opinion. So in your journey as an entrepreneur and technologist, what lessons have you learned that you would like to share with other aspiring entrepreneurs and technologists to make an impact in the AI field?
I think it's important to stay humble. I mean, we can do marvels with AI, but
Mhm.
there are a number of limits that we need to acknowledge, and we need to be honest. So I mean, people coming out and say, "Oh, I'm going to solve all the problems of the world with AI." I mean, it's not
Unlikely.
right. It's unlikely. So I would say so. Take a topic and try to focus on the topic and try to see where you can actually deliver value on top of some technologies. Of course, we use all the technologies that are out there and
Mhm.
see how you can provide value. And that could be in defining some new innovative ways. So I'm from the a little bit from the hardcore side. So yes, sometimes you will have to define a new algorithm. So there was somebody who invented deep learning, right?
Mhm. Yeah, of course.
And if sometimes so people who are defining groundbreaking technologies, they can make a difference, right? But there are also a lot of opportunities, not only and there are a lot of opportunities. Technologies is one part, but it's also how you are going to provide this technology as a value. So I remember having a team back then at IBM. So and in my I had quite a big team, and we were delivering AI products. And I have some people who were doing research, right? And some of the things that we've done came into the product. Some of the other research topics that never came into the product. Yeah, and so you need to be so you need a good mix basically of innovation, creativity. A lot of people who are very good technically to implement innovation, but you need also some smart product people. So
Mhm.
that's one thing which is important, which are going to look at some problems, some business problems, and are going to be able to solve them. I mean, mostly speaking about business problems, company, because I've been in the enterprise segment. I have little clue about B2C. So maybe, I think in my next life I'm going to do B2C. But this life I've chosen B2B, or I mean, so B2B has chosen me. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it must have been a good choice though, because clearly it's doing well. You're doing well for yourself, and things are going very well at Paretos. So very glad to see that, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of people that will definitely take that advice and hopefully make good use of it. So appreciate that you shared that with us. So thank you on their behalf. And thank you for joining me today. It's been very, very interesting hearing about your journey and hearing about everything that Paretos does. So thanks for joining Vision to Venture, Eric. And I wish you all the best with your future endeavors and everything that you go on to do in Paretos and anywhere else that you go on to. So yeah, best of luck for everything that's coming up in your future.
Yeah, thank you, Eddie. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And yeah, let's see. What are the next steps?
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll soon find out.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Vision to Venture. If you're listening, make sure to give us a 5-star review. And if you're watching, like and subscribe to listen to more inspiring stories from leaders in the tech space.